Hi there. I'm going to show you how to do my fun ridge stitch. And this is it. And you can see that it has some ridges, and you'll see that more as we go on into the lighter colors that start to come. It has a nice ridge. It has a lot of texture to it. And the edges look like this. And the other side has ridges too. So ridges on both sides. So it'd be really nice for a project where you have either side showing. And the ridges on this side aren't quite as straight. They're a bit wavy, and they're also more pronounced. If you were to do this stitch in the round, they would be straighter. They're a little wavy because of the motion of going back and forth when you're doing a flat panel. But this stitch can be done in the round very easily, because it is just a one row stitch. So you'll be marking your pegs, or if you don't need to mark them, you don't have to. But I have 2 for the edge stitch, and then no marker, marker, no marker, marker, no marker, marker. So every second peg gets the marker, and then you have no marker, and then your end pegs. And you can use any amount of pegs that you want to. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 pegs, but any odd pegs. So any size that you want. And the reason you're using odd pegs is you want to have the same stitches here on either side. Okay. So the yarn I'm using is ice yarn, and it's an ice yarn bulky. It's a really beautiful yarn. Has some really nice colors in it, really nice mix of vibrant colors. And it's part wool and part acrylic. I'll see if I can find where it's marked on here. There it is, 50% wool, 50% acrylic. It's a roving yarn. It's a bulky. And I never can find a color on these. They never really put a color. They must have a way of telling a number somewhere. I just can never find it. But anyway, it's a mix of vibrant pink, and it's got some burgundy, some black, some gold, a copper kind of color, kind of a brown, even a bit of a violet purple. So a nice mix of colors. And it's the kind of roving that has some thicker, some thinner pieces, probably because of the high wool content too. Okay, so that's the yarn. And the loom I'm using is a 5/8 inch gauge. It's a Cindywood loom. It is about the size of a 48-inch peg, the Purple Nifty Knitter, but I had this one specially made by Cindywood, so it's a 49 peg. I wanted odd pegs for a certain brim I do that works really well with odd pegs. So that's what this loom is technically for, but I'm using it for this stitch. And okay, so I'm just going to get going then. I was going to find my loom hook, but I found it. And we'll just get going doing the stitch. Now it's a stitch video, so I'm not going to show you everything about it, but I'm certainly going to tell you enough that you'll be able to make a project. I'll show you how to do the sides that I'm doing, but you can feel free to do any side that you'd like. But I cast on with a crochet chain cast on, and I'll put the cast on and the cast off method I would use with this right on the description, so you'll be able to go and find those if you want to use those. And then the edge that I used, I wanted an edge that would work with the stitches and look quite nice. And this goes right to the edge, looking like it just goes completely with it and belongs, and it gives you a nice tight edge right here. So I just did an owl eye edge. I like that edge a lot because it's nice and tight, and as long as it goes with the stitch, I like to use it. And then how it looks on the other side, like if you're going to use the other side, that edge looks like this, and it goes with it on this side too. Okay, so I did cast on, then I did 2 rows of owl eye as a foundation to get started. You can find owl eye stitch on my channel if you've never done it before, and that will help you to be able to do that. Okay, so I'll show you the corners when I get there. I've already done this corner and I'm ready to go to my first peg that doesn't have the marker. So whenever I see a peg that doesn't have a marker, I am going to do this purl technique that I worked out. So we just go under, we scoop up the yarn and purl it. Then we come right back to purl it again. So I get the working yarn here, loom to be more stable here, the working yarn here, we take the loom hook, put it in, purl it again, keep the working yarn over to the right, and we do the purl, so 2 purls on there. Then whenever we have a peg with a marker, we come over and do a U-wrap, and then we come behind and in front and U-wrap it again. So every peg is getting 2 stitches, either 2 of a purl stitch or 2 of a knit stitch. So then we come to the next peg and it doesn't have a marker, and we purl it. We give it a little tug. We want it to be fairly snug. We come back, purl it again, keeping the working yarn to the right here, and snug it up. Okay, and we come to the next peg and it has a marker on it. So we do a U-wrap, and we come around and do another U-wrap, and then we come to the next peg, we do a purl, give it a bit of a tug here, come back, do another purl, keeping the working yarn here and snugging it. Okay, and then we do a knit, another knit, come over, do the purl, purl again, snugging it up. I'm having trouble. I'm just going to put you on pause for a second and see if I can get this centered better in the frame so that you can see better. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we come over and we have one with a marker. So we knit it, come back, over, knit it again. Next one is the purl. So we come over, purl it, snug it up, purl it again. I'm going to go nice and slow here. and snug it up. And then we're at the end here. So when we do the end, we come over the first peg and knit it. And I'm keeping this pretty loose. You can loosen it up if you need to. Keeping it nice and loose. We wrap around both pegs like that in the front, knit them off, and we're keeping everything nice and loose. You can even pull it out, and then we come over it, making sure that your edge is loose, and knit them off. Okay, and then there's our first peg, so we're going to purl it going this way. Pull there, purling it, snugging it up, purling it again, and the working yarn goes this way, same way. Both purls are going the same direction. Knit twice, come over, purl, and purl again. Knit and come over, knit again, purl, and then purling again the same direction, snugging it up, come over, do the U-wrap it again, come over, and purl this one, and purl it again. It's messed up, so whenever you mess up, you can just take it off, undo it, put your loop back on. There it is. Come back and do it again. Purl, and purl again. There you go. And that knit, splitting a little bit there. Roving is so beautiful to work with and shows your stitches so well, but yes, it sure can split easy. And purl, and purl again the same direction. And then we do the edge, and it's the same as we did on the other side. We go over once into a U-wrap, then we wrap both pegs, and we make sure that we're nice and loose. We want to have a nice edge. Keeping this loose, you can pull it out to keep it loose, and knit it over. Okay. And then we come to the first peg, and it's a purl, purling it again the same direction, and then knitting the next one twice, coming over, doing the purl, doing it again, the 2 knits, the 2 purls, the 2 knits, the 2 purls, 2 knits, the 2 purls, and then we're doing the edge. So nice and close and show you this edge one more time. Knit the first peg, wrap around both pegs, nice and loose, keeping it loose. Coming back, loose, and that's all there is to it, and then back to do your next purl here. Okay, so take a look at it now, and we're into the pink. You can see the ridge more happening a little bit easier, I think, on the pink color, and also on the lighter color here. But there it is, and then here it is on this side. And I can stretch it out a little bit so you can see it more, because you should always stretch out our stitches when we're done to see what they really look like there. And has a lot of texture. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry this was slipping a lot. For some reason I was having trouble with this particular loom. One of those days, I guess, but should be enough shots that are really clear so you can see the stitches I was doing and what I was doing. So okay, until next time, bye.